The only thing on your mind, though, is the Cowboys draft, which is where we are starting tonight to kick off our NFC East draft recap. The Cowboys did some big things early on in the draft with the big three: Tyler Smith in the first round, followed up by Sam Williams and my guy Jalen Tolbert. Aaron, you are the resident Cowboy fan here. It's only fitting that you kick things off. And what were your overall thoughts on this draft for the Cowboys? We know on Thursday you were a little bummed out about the Tyler Smith thing, and then you came back on Friday. You were happy, positive about it, and now it's all over. How are you feeling?
I feel okay. Okay. I'm not going to say it's great, and I'm not going to say it's poor. The fact of the matter is they did what they've done for the past decade. They've addressed needs. You're right. The first day I was not happy about Tyler Smith. I thought there were some other ways they could have gone. But the fact remains is the offensive line depth was a problem, regardless of what we did in the offseason, letting go of a Lyle Collins, losing a Connor Williams. The offensive line needed to be addressed. They did that with the Tyler Smith and Matt Waletzko. They actually did it with a Jake Ferguson as well, who they can kind of mix in at tight end. And he's good in the pass game, but he can also, improve as a blocker, hopefully give us some depth there. They went after edge rusher. They went after linebacker and defensive back. Those are all needs of the Dallas Cowboys. It's what they've been doing for a decade. I think it lacked the star power that I think we were kind of accustomed with the Dallas Cowboys, right? Getting a CeeDee Lamb, getting these big names, and people want to see those big names come off the board. So my issue so much at the end of the day wasn't about the draft. There were some question marks about the players. Sam Williams, I had some question marks where he went. I thought there might have been some guys there that they could have took over him. He has some ability, but he lacks some strength at times. So that grade that I give on a Sam Williams is not as high. But overall, I thought they did an okay job. I really like the Damon Clark pick in the 5th round. If he can come back and play football next year in 2023, I think that is going to be big for them. And again, it was late pick. It was a risk, but very little risk with the high reward. So overall, okay.
Now, and I don't mean to continue on you here, but I'm going to, because I believe you mentioned to me the other day that you were trying to defend the Sam Williams pick the other day on TikTok. Was that what you were doing? Or because you gave him a C here, and then you listed that you wanted to negatively talk about him tonight. So what's going on with Sam Williams?
No, so I did not tell you that I was like defending him. I went on TikTok and got into it with the guy because he was showing a play of Sam Williams basically beating Alabama. Like he went around the edge on Evan Neal, but he over pursued. So Evan Neal just let him get up the field and pushed him out, and it left this big void. The guy said it opened up the offensive line. I said, no, it created a pocket for the quarterback. And then he started bringing up stuff. Well, if Micah Parsons was the linebacker, he could have shot the gap and he would have closed the distance. It made no sense. Is what I was trying to say is Sam Williams the ability is there. That technique can be poor. He can over pursue at times. He lacks strength sometimes when he tries to go straight into one of those bigger tackles. They tend to just maul him. Those are things that I'm worried about with Sam Williams, but he does have some ability. I think he can develop. I think he'd be really, really good on 3rd down passing situations initially. But yes, I do believe there were better rushers at that time in the draft. But again, I know they're looking for dynamic playmakers on that defense. He can kind of grow into that, I believe. But no, I wasn't actually defending Sam Williams in itself. I was trying to tell this Cowboys fan on TikTok that he was wrong.
Okay. Because that was you were the lowest on that. And when you look at my grades, I put a big fat D on that one. Not whoa. Yeah. I gave that one a D. I didn't like the pick. I didn't like Sam Williams there, especially with guys like Nick Bonito still on the board, and you go for Sam Williams. I thought that was. I
don't think Nick Bonito was still on the board.
He was.
He's on the ice.
He was. Yeah, Nick Bonito and Drake Jackson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Nick Bonito went in the 2nd round, right?
Yes, with like the last pick in the 2nd round.
Sam Williams went before him. I remember checking. I remember.
Yeah, I can't. That's why I graded it the way it was, because Sam Williams went 56th overall, and Nick Bonito went 64th overall to the Denver Broncos. 64th. So that's why I went even lower on that, because I thought Nick Bonito was a better, and not Nick Bonito, Dylan, but Nick Bonito.
Well, you guys like Nick Bonito as well, and I thought he would drop because I'm not a huge fan of Nick Bonito. I probably would have felt the same way.
Okay, so you're okay with going Sam Williams over Nick Bonito?
Yeah, that's not a big deal.
I don't think he thinks it moves the needle that much. And I mean, to an extent, I would agree that the only issue with Sam Williams, in my opinion, is just the timing. If you really wanted him, he probably would have still been there in the third round if you really wanted him. And that's my only issue. But other than that, what he does on the field, and maybe not at the Cowboys pick, you might be right about that. But what he does on the field, I think, is going to help. I think it takes away a little bit of that Randy Gregory void. His length is something that I think is going to help a lot while he tightens up and polishes his actual NFL football acumen. So some of the natural ability you'll see, he'll be able to rush the passer and create havoc and allow some of these other guys and these other linebackers to get through and get to the quarterback. So he just has to be polished, in my opinion. But I liked it a little bit more than Aaron does. But it's his team. I get it.
Yeah. He's a harsh critic, man. He wants the best for his Cowboys.
I was easily the hardest grader out of anybody. Overall,
I don't know, man.
like
I'm pretty sure I dropped a 1.9 on someone today.
You did.
Yeah. I'm not saying individually there weren't picks that were lower than mine, but overall, you guys were a little bit more generous with grades than I was. And it's just kind of, again, my mentality post-draft. I'm no longer hyping these players up. It's not about hype to me anymore. These players have been drafted. Now I'm telling you what they need to do to be good NFL football players. And I think that's where I struggle with just grading guys. I'm no longer looking at their college tape. I don't care. The fact of the matter is, how are you going to translate to the NFL now? And that's where I'm at. So.
And apparently Nick Benito doesn't translate well.
No, it's just I'm not as high on him as others. I don't want to say he can't be good.
He would.
Nick Benito
Broncos are going to beat the Cowboys this year.
Do they play this year? Is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing.
I don't know. But I'm just really, I'm still mad that I went back on it last year because they were playing like trash and the Cowboys were playing great, and then the Broncos smashed.
AJ, let it go. Gotta let it go.
He loves Denver.
It was a regular season game. The Broncos didn't make the playoffs. The Cowboys went 12-5. You were right, Kay, to pick the Cowboys. Stop.
That was wrong.
Denver is AJ's AFC crush. He loves them.
Yeah. Big time Denver guy.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Does anyone else have anything that they want to talk about on the Cowboys? Because we're going to have an overall GPA released at the end of this show regarding the Cowboys and the rest of the NFC East. But is there any other players that jumped out to you guys that the Dallas Cowboys selected throughout the draft, whether it be first round or seventh round, whatever?
I'll be quick. If the words are true and Damone Clark gets to play in 22, it's going to be a great pick. He was one of those guys at LSU that kind of held everything down to get him in the fifth round. Honestly, even if he ends up redshirting a year, I get they need linebacker help. But when he's on the field, you'd imagine he's going to be better. I know there's some fear with the Jalen Smith situation, how they waited on him. But if he can stay healthy and if he plays in 2022, he's going to be a guy that can change that linebacking core next to Micah Parsons. I really like the fact that they decided to go after that pick in the fifth round. You know, they didn't reach or anything like that. We had him. I think we talked about someone grabbing him in the fourth round. And then lastly, I gave an A+ grade to Matt. Well, let's go just for my guy Aaron. I was very happy that you got Matt. Well, let's go in your squad. So I gave an A+ grade for that just for my guy.
Yeah, Aaron, you actually had that as a B+ on there when I think all of us went A on that one, Dylan went a B on it, but that was the guy we were like, oh, he went to the Cowboys. I'm sure Aaron's gonna just love that pick.
I do. A B+ is loving. Like, not everything has to be an A. The B+ is I believe he's a sleeper. I believe he's going to be a really good offensive lineman in the NFL for a really long time. But that doesn't make him a Hall of Famer. That doesn't mean that this was a slam dunk, knock it out of the park. I mean, let's be honest. He still comes from a very small school in North Dakota, doesn't play the greatest competition. He has to show he can do it at the NFL level. I like him, but again, I'm not just going to throw A's around the park just because it's a guy I like. I'm very realistic. I definitely just
threw that one out there. I was like, hey, hell yeah, give it to him. My guy got his guy.
You get an A. You get an A.
It was one of those days the teacher came to work and was really happy about what happened the night before, which is giving out A's.
Just buzzing. Dylan?
I wanted to say one thing on Clark. You know, AJ said he'd be short, then he rambled for 55. But, you know, I am going to be short. Clark, you know, I think we've seen Dallas do this many times, right? Van Der Esch had some injury history. Wearing the big old neck roll and something there at the linebacker position. Jalen Smith, we mentioned earlier, injury, trying to give it a shot. I mean, I love the way that Dallas every single year not every single year, but they take those risks at the linebacker position on guys that fall. I'm shocked they didn't try it with Miles Jack. I mean, just linebackers that fall that could potentially fit their scheme. And although they do have the injury history or concern, they take that swing, and a 5th-round pick on a guy like that, it could be advantageous for them.
Yep. First round grade linebacker, if 100% healthy, he's going in the first round. So again, low risk, high reward. If it doesn't work out, it's just a 5th-round pick that didn't work out.
So let's see what everything looks like here with our GPAs and the way we calculated it. Again, we got the Muke scale here. We got the Muxiah scale here. We value the first rounds to third. What's your scale?
Yeah.
Tell the people.
So the scale is the 1st to 4th round is graded on a 5-credit unit score. And then the remaining draft picks are credited on 2 units. So I don't know, probably people are like, whatever you're talking about, but basically it weighs the first 4 rounds a little bit heavier than we rate the last 3 rounds, just because those rounds are less likely to hit. But you might find some steals there. So if you graded them really high, gives a little bump up for their GPA.
Is this a Full Sail grading curriculum?
I grade a lot better than Full Sail, because otherwise half the people at Full Sail wouldn't graduate if I was grading. Just saying.
That's what I'm saying. It's got the AJ grades. It's got the AJ grades where everyone just gets a passing grade and moves them along. Maybe move them along. But this is what it looks like here. Cowboys at a 2.83. The Eagles at a 3.0. The Commanders, oh, yikes, a 1.98. That's not passing. I don't care where you're at. In high school, I wouldn't have passed that shit. And a 3.02.
Wouldn't be academically eligible.
I would not. I would not. And there were times in high school where I had that. But no, the Giants at a 3.02, there was never a time in any of my life where I've had a 3.02 or a 3.0 higher. But the Giants did it in large part because really Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau were just when you're on that weighted scale and you got 2 A+ to kick off the draft. I mean, that's the way to go. So congratulations to the New York Giants for winning the NFC East best draft grade.